Shalom, everyone. It's your girl, Sophia Spiritual Light, and I had a question about pendulum etiquette. So I decided to just make a video response so that hopefully this will be helpful for people. So here's the thing about clearing your crystal. Your pendulum. First and foremost, let me mention, or let me point out, some people are starting to get unusual responses from their pendulums. This doesn't have to do with clearing. This has to do with the entities that are either working with you or attempting to work with you. And when what will happen, or let me just put it like this, what has happened to me is, before, my pendulum used to always my guardian angel would be the first one to show up when I use my pendulum. But since I've been working with Diana, now Diana shows up first. And if I want to talk to my guardian angel, I have to I have to specifically ask for my guardian angel to show up because Diana is there. And so I just want to point this out first, because you may notice that your pendulum is acting weird. You're not getting the same responses as usual. That's just an indication that a new entity is trying to work with you. And, positive entities do work clockwise. However, just because a negative entity is trying to get your attention doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. Remember, the infernal entities, they have their purpose too. And so they may be trying to deliver a message to you, trying to keep you from something that's coming, trying to warn you about something, because, like I keep trying to tell everybody, all the entities want to work with our people. They don't want to work with these other people anymore. And so they are trying to do their very best to get into contact with us any kind of way that they can. And I'm telling you that for 100% fact. They don't want to work with those people. And it's funny because even just this morning, I've been working with some of the Hindu god devs and devis, right? Which I mentioned previously. And I would always say, man, why they want to work with me? Like, they got all these devoted followers. Those people, they look like us. Whatever the case may be, why not deal with their own people? Well, this morning, I happened to see a argument on Twitter between some Hindus, Indians, those Indians, and they were arguing about how if somebody wasn't initiated into a particular sect of the religion, I don't know, into a particular goddess or dev or devi's, tradition, they shouldn't even be saying their mantras, which is nuts. Like, they sounded like Christians to me. And so it's just further proof that we are the only people who are capable of having the type of belief system which allows you to work with various different entities in relation to the Most High Father and Mother and how they operate. Everybody else is really set on having these entities separate, finding no connections between them, nothing. They want everyone to be separate. So these people very much reminded me of regular Christians, the way they were arguing. And I'm like, Dag, I've been saying mantras for like 3 months now, different ones. And because they were saying, yeah, if you use a certain mantra, you're going to hurt yourself. I was like, yikes, you mean to tell me? Well, yeah, it's true if you don't have a pure heart. So they're right about that, but it was just weird. So that is to say that if you notice your pendulum has started to do different things, that's a different entity that wants to communicate with you. And the best thing to do is to ask, can you bring me more information about you so I know who I'm talking to, so I know what name to use? Everybody wants to be called by their name. They named everything. Everything has a name. And so, that's a good way to find out if, your regular guardian angel isn't showing up anymore. To be honest, for a lot of the females, I don't know about the males because I don't know how many of them use pendulums. We have evolved past the masculine, guardian angel that whole level. We're not on that level anymore. We're like at a different level. I won't say it's higher. I won't say it's better. I won't say anything but say that it's different. We're at a different level. So it's going to be a different level of entities that work with you as you spiritually travel through the dimensions or the whatever they call them. As you travel through that, your spiritual knowledge increases. It's going to be different entities that start showing up for you. So you shouldn't be concerned about this. What you want to do is just try to figure out who you're dealing with. And, just know that when you get to the next level, there's going to be another level of entities that want to work with you. And not that you leave your old level behind, but they're here to teach you what certain things that you need to know. And then you move on to the next level. So about clearing your pendulum. What I recommend now, first of all, everybody needs to clear their pendulum. So that would mean 3 days, solid days without use. If your period is not in alignment with the new moon, then I would recommend you do that when your period comes. And it doesn't mean you have to bury it. That's not what it, you don't have to do that. It's depending on what your sign is. So if you are an earth sign, you may bury it, or you can sit it beside some other crystals to clear it. If you're an air sign, you hang it in a tree, or you hang it up somewhere, like on, somewhere in your closet somewhere where the air can flow through it. If you're a fire sign, you put it beside a candle. If you're a water sign, you put it beside a cup of water, but you use you use what energy is connected with you to clear it. So it doesn't have to be that you bury it. Now, I used to bury mine in sand, especially when I only had one. Now what I do is I keep my pendulums on my altar with the rest of my stuff. And so when I use a pendulum, then I put it down. Then I don't feel it's necessary, because I use more than one pendulum, to go through a full cleansing cycle every whatever. I don't feel that's necessary because I have more than one pendulum. I'm not reliant on one pendulum and one energy from that pendulum to do everything. So as you develop multiple pendulums, you won't have to bury it or put it by fire or whatever. You would just keep it somewhere where it can always be cleared and charged. So like on my altar, I have my Bible, I have some selenite, I have a candle, I have water because I have my holy water. So it's surrounded by all the elements. So I don't specifically go and clear it again, because every time I put it there, it's being cleared. I don't use my pendulum every day. And even when I do use it every day, I may use different ones. Like, I just have different. That's why I have different pendulums on the website, because the one that I use for my guardian angel, if I really wanted to talk to my guardian angel, I would go and get that pendulum. That's the one that I have tied to my guardian angel. It's just that I got the feeling to move on from that pendulum, using it every day, all the time, and I use my black pendulum. And that one is more associated with Diana, Lilith, whatever, the moon, feminine energy, the mother's energy. So that's the one that I normally use every day now. And then when they give me some information, it'll be another one. You know what I mean? I don't have just one pendulum. So I would suggest getting more than one pendulum, finding one that feels right for you. Go to the metaphysical store, or go online, Amazon. They have a bunch of them. Order, some in crystals that you like. Whatever the case may be, I would just recommend engaging in the use of more than one pendulum. But if you do have one pendulum, then yes, when you get to the time, for your cycle, or if you're a man, when the moon goes into new moon, you definitely want to set that down and let it, clear out. And it's always helpful if you think your pendulum needs to be cleared. Like if you get the feeling like, man, this pendulum is really crazy, you can ask, do I need to clear you? You know what I mean? And then you can run the pendulum over some incense. And I wouldn't say a full reconsecration, but run the pendulum over some incense to let it clear that way. hang it in a window, whatever the case may be. Then you let it clear for a day or two, and then you ask the pendulum, are you clear now? And if it's clear, then you move on. But if it's not clear, you can wear, now I wouldn't say wear the pendulum out. The pendulum can lose its energy because it is just a device. Just like pentacles can become decharged, all kinds of things can become decharged, right? And so or interfered with. And so if you have that kind of problem where your pendulum is just keep giving you crazy answers, you're not, it just doesn't feel comfortable, just take it somewhere and bury it. Or if you live near the beach, put it into the water, let it just let it go. Don't try and say, oh my gosh, this is my only pendulum, like I need this pendulum. No, just let it go, because something is going on with it. You don't want that to be brought into you, and you let that thing go, and you go get another one. And don't stress out about it, because we can't see the unseen world. We just can't see it. It's unseen to us. And so we don't really know what's going on. So it could be that your pendulum was used for some kind of battle or something like that. And you never know what's going on. Like me, I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff happened to me. And I just realized that it really has nothing to do with me. I'm just the vessel, because that's what I volunteered to do. And, you have to approach it like that. Like, you are just a vessel. And sometimes, there's casualties of war with your spiritual items, and you just need to replace it. You know what I mean? Which is why it's best to have a couple. That way, if something like catastrophic does happen, you already have another one ready to go. So, I make, pendulums. So I have 1, 2, 3 that I've made, and then I've got 4 or 5 that I bought, just for different purposes, and I'm still looking to get a few more. So it's always good to have a variety of pendulums if you're going to be engaged in pendulum work. I am going to start using my pendulum to clear auras and stuff like that, especially now that I've got those aura quartz. So I'm looking to do like a laying of the crystals in combination with a clearing. So I am going to order a special pendulum just for that. And when I do that, I will let you guys know which one. I think I already know. I just got to go and look and see if I can even find it. So, that's that. So, of course, if you have any questions about pendulums, please leave the questions below. I'll continue to answer as many questions as I can. With videos, because I know this is new for us. It's still new for me. Remember, I didn't pick up a pendulum until August of 2022. So I am not by any means an expert at this. I'm just sharing what I noticed and what I've read. And I do have a course on Rhabdomancy, where if you are new to it, to pendulum use, you can get a lot of information on how they work, how I use my pendulum, and clearing energy, and also, karma cleanses. I have a really good karma cleanse, and also energy activation, that comes as a part of the course. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link for that in the description too. So to the spirits who are here with us, you're invited to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace. And always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom.